So today I would like to talk about how we do engineering at scale at Pipedrive and how we changed the development model we had since 2013 and how we're currently working since mid-2018 and why we did this change. So a very, very brief story on Pipedrive. As you heard Nuno say, we were founded back in 2010 by 5 guys in Estonia. The mission was to make salespeople kick ass. And that's still our mission today. So in terms of engineering numbers, and these sort of reveal a bit about us, we are more than 150 engineers arranged in 11 tribes, and I will explain what tribes are in a few minutes. We have more than 300 microservices in production. These are not instances, these are actually separate microservices. We do more than 100 deployments to production every single day. We are providing service from 2 separate data centers, and we have about 4 officially supported languages within the company, in which we have multiple libraries available to JavaScript, TypeScript, PHP, and Go. So, how we were arranged before? From mid-2013 to mid-2018, we were arranged in teams. So, teams were independent, they were multidisciplinary groups of people in Pipedrive. Each team was about 9 people, 1 team lead, 1 product manager, 1 designer, and 7 to 6 developers. Each team basically designed, built, and maintained their own product features, services, and libraries within Pipedrive. They were as isolated as possible. So, there's really good stuff about teams. The main point is that they're really great when they're new. So, at Pipedrive, when the team was formed, the right people in place, they could be tremendously fast. They delivered new features, because their only focus was delivering new things. And usually teams in this phase at Pipedrive were sources of innovation within the organization by implementing new tools and technologies where existing teams usually aren't because they have to support their things. And about the bad stuff, not so good stuff about the team model, is that they have a best before date. So what we started noticing a few years is that when a team gets to the point of the 2-year mark, they usually become slower and slower. The reason is because they don't have the same focus that they had when they're new. They have to basically support the existing features as well as create new ones. And usually teams in this phase would oftentimes become a slag for the people who were part of that team. And the guys basically left the company looking for greener pastures elsewhere. So this kind of experience, some new teams that exist in Pipedrive were fast, but the existing teams for 2 years started to become a bit stuck. And so we had the challenge. And as we grew, we understood that this model wasn't the right thing for us going forward. It simply wasn't scaling up for the current and future needs of the company as we wanted to deliver new and better features. So we needed to have something that allowed us to grow in terms of execution. So whatever new model that we would came up with, it would need to improve on individual and collective focus. So the guys who basically working still need to be able to have focus and not be constantly divided between things that they have to support. The effective resolution time, that means that whenever a bug comes in, it can't be in the backlog forever, and we can't have huge backlogs of bugs. We need to be able to quickly resolve bugs that come in a way or another. Another thing is that we still need to be able to provide continuous improvements and innovation. That means that it's not just when a team is new that we are able to improve and innovate. It needs to be something that's continuous. And another thing is individual motivation and engagement. It can't just be cool working in new teams. It needs to be cool always for everyone who's at Pipedrive. And so we came up with a new model, which is the tribe model, which has been in place since mid-2018. So we started planning and thinking about this model at the start of 2018 when we started noticing problems with existing teams. And as a whole company, and a lot of people were involved, we designed, we discussed, we planned, and adopted the model. So this model, though, you're seeing the tribes model, and this name is used in companies like Spotify and etc. It has nothing to do with this model as it exists in those other companies. It was actually designed inside Pipedrive. So what are the components of the tribe model as we designed? So obviously there's the tribe itself. There are 11 tribes in Pipedrive, and we formed tribes by combining 3 or more existing teams at Pipedrive, basically creating a larger group of people. Still the same principle. Everything that's developed inside the tribe is owned by the tribe, But there's a huge difference, which is we have missions and we have launch pad. So missions, it's something that happens in time. It's organized in a specific moment in time. Guys from the tribe are selected, and the mission starts with those guys. And they have 1 to 3 months to develop or iterate and test new things, basically deliver a new feature. Then we have the launch pad, which is where maintenance and support of all existing feature, research and development, refactoring, and pre-mission preparation are done within the tribe. Another thing that we have is pitching and mission candidates. So whenever a new mission comes up, there's a mission pitch. Basically, product manager, mission lead, and a designer come up with an idea, something that they want to do. And they present it to the entire company, and then developers who are currently in the launchpad, they basically say, I want to participate in this mission, I think it's interesting, I want to go in and I want to participate. A tribe usually looks like this, like there's one engineering manager, in this case it's Nunu here, he's responsible for the how things get done inside the tribe. There's a lead product manager who basically owns the what. He says, this is the kinds of features that we're missing, this is the kinds of things that we need to do. And the lead product designer that basically is, works with the lead product manager and the product managers to ensure that things make sense from a user experience point of view. And we have different people in here, but the biggest point in there is 0 to 3 mission leads. It depends on the number of missions that are happening inside the tribe. You can either have 0 or 3 at most inside the tribe. And the launchpad lead, which is basically the guy, which is a developer that's responsible for the launchpad during So the missions. So just like a new team, missions provide the focus that older teams lost as they went by. Everyone who's off to a mission is only focused on the mission, nothing else. They don't do bug fixing, they do anything. They just work on the mission. And missions are always limited in time, usually 1 to 3 months, depending on the complexity that was agreed before. And its members are only temporarily assigned to it. So once the mission finishes, they go back to the mission. So how is a mission launched? Well, first the product manager has an idea and discusses it with the engineering manager. The engineering manager agrees and basically goes to the launchpad and sees who's available to lead this mission. Usually it's a senior developer. So a mission lead is selected. Then the tribe's lead product designer assigns one product designer to the mission. So we have these 3 guys who are basically the core of the mission. The responsibility basically is to come up with a mission pitch. Basically just a description. What are the goals of this mission? What do we want to do with it? And once that mission pitch gets written, they then be presented to the entire company. Every single Tuesday, we have sort of all ends where all the mission pitches of all the missions that are to start are presented. And any developer from any tribe can basically say, I want to participate in this mission. They go to a tool, internal tool that we have, they basically register. Once all the guys basically apply to the mission, then the candidate developers are selected by the engineering manager and the mission lead. Basically, out of all the pool of developers who said that they want, the engineering manager and the mission lead see who makes sense for the kinds of things and challenges that we have to do as part of this mission. And finally, we have the last step before launching the mission, which is all the guys, 3 guys at the start, and all the developers that were selected, basically they discuss, they plan and agree on a high-level scope and goals of the mission. So they basically say, yes, I think that this can be done in 2 months or 1 month, and yes, I think this mission makes sense. And the mission is launched. So during the mission, basically there's a singular focus, which is the mission goals. The only thing the mission members have to focus, as I said before, is delivering the functionality and the goals that the mission did, nothing else. No on-call, no fixes, no support. They also try to iterate quickly. So usually they always deliver a functional code or functional feature, and they validate it at the end of the week with real users in beta test, basically. Just to validate that, yes, we're moving in the right direction, this is what guys want. In terms of process, within the mission, it's as light as it can be. We don't use Scrum within the mission. We just have a simple Kanban board with to-do in progress done. There's no estimates. Tasks are created by the team. They agree on a task and they just start doing things. The objective is delivering value, not making estimations. We have also short daily stand-ups just to guarantee that we're all aligned within the mission. And we have weekly retrospective, which is also very lightweight, just for the guys to discuss what went well or didn't went so well during this week. And also we have something which is we do continuous delivery to life. So even during the mission, we're constantly, the very definition of run of a task in Pipedrive is code is deployed to life. So you move the task, when it's done, it's because the code is running in life. And the way we do this is we have, when it's new features, we have these new features hidden or being modified behind feature flags, such as dev, beta, or live. And let's say that this goes on for 2 months or 1 month or whatever. And there's a final step to the mission, which is preparing for mission land. So in this final preparation step, docs get written and support is trained. So because we're going to deliver this new feature to customers, and customer support needs to know how to support this feature, basically the product manager prepares documentation, gives training to customer support. Polishing and hardening get done as well. So we iterated, we validated what we wanted to deliver, and in the final 3-4 weeks, depends on the size of the mission, polishing and hardening get done. Basically, we make sure that all the tests, load testing, security hardening is done. We also set up all the monitoring and alerting for this feature. And finally, there's one final check, which is the mission lead meets with Launchpad lead. And the Launchpad lead verifies that the thing that is going to be delivered by the mission is in a state that can be supported and maintained by the Launchpad of the tribe. And so the mission lands. As the mission lands in the tribe Launchpad, the services and libraries built within the mission are now owned and maintained by the tribe as a whole. And all mission members are released from duty and join the tribe's Launchpad. Usually this is the phase, given that support and maintenance are done as part of the Launchpad, you deliver the code and you need to be at the Launchpad at least to maintain it on the first weeks of the release. And the final part of our tribe system is the Launchpad. So again, the process is as light as it can be. At minimum, it has 5 to 6 developers, including the Launchpad lead. And just like a mission, the process is as minimal as possible. We don't do estimates because most of the things that the Launchpad handles are also bugs, so and we don't estimate bugs. So we just have a simple camera board to do, done, in progress. We have daily stand-ups and weekly retrospectives and planning, just more or less to have a check what we want to do, how the state is. The Launchpad is also responsible for doing research and development, small features and improvements, because the guys who are in the Launchpad have the time to do that, and if they're not as focused as they are in the mission, the guys who are part of the Launchpad can dedicate themselves to making new things and trying out new things, such as writing shared libraries for future missions, improvements, and refactoring of services already in production. The Launchpad is also responsible for on-call, bugs, and support, so if there's an incident 24/7, someone in the Launchpad is responsible for taking it to the phone and basically just ensuring that things are going okay. They also fix bugs in services that are currently maintained by the Launchpad and not in mission, and they also give support whenever necessary. And if you're not in a mission, you're in Launchpad, definitely. So that's basically our process: tribes, mission, and Launchpad. We're still collecting the data, but myself, as a previous engineering team lead, I can tell you that it feels to me that this process it's much, much better than the process we had before, and it's going to allow us to scale further Pipedrive product engineering and open new offices and new tribes. And to me, it truly feels like the pace of work and engagement by everyone has grown tremendously. And it was already great before, except if you worked in a really old team. But I think that it makes the feeling of the company the same for everyone. So why did we do this? Because we want to deliver high-quality features that our customers truly need and love, while making our product managers, designers, and developers be and feel productive, focused, and happy working with us. This is our objective. And my closing remarks is, and it applies for everything, if something is not working or can really be better, just have the audacity to try something entirely new and different. There were really a number of hurdles and discussions and people who didn't agree with this new process because it's just how people are. They don't feel comfortable with changes in status quo. And some people actually left the company because of that. But I'm happy to say that the biggest reason that they presented, they were wrong, and it's actually a process that's working really nicely. But sometimes change is really what I need. Thank you. Also, any questions?
How did you accomplish that the stand-ups are short if you have 20 developers?
No, we don't have 20 developers is all the developers who are in the tribe. Hopefully we have 3 missions ongoing. That means that the launchpad probably has 6 or 5 guys, and each mission also has 4 or 5 guys. So we don't really have that many people at any one place. So that's, yeah.
Who maintains and monitors the services and components that you worked from the missions after the launchpad?
Because monitoring and alerting needs to be set up by the mission itself. And we have standardized ways. So we use New Relic, we use Prometheus and Grafana, we have a logging system, so everything is set up
but more than the stack, after the launchpad goes on and everything is moved like in the first months, but then imagine 6 months later the services are not behaving so well and they need to be scaled or something like that. And people from the mission are already in other missions.
Because that's the responsibility of the launchpad. You have a tribe. That's the thing with teams. Teams basically just have the knowledge within themselves. Within a tribe, the idea is once a mission ends, it's the responsibility of the mission to basically provide all the documentation, give a session basically where it talks what is built, how it works, to the entire tribe. Right? So the idea is that everyone gets to know what the tribe has done, and there's not just a guy or 2 guys who know how it works.
Did you have to face already this kind of challenges to tackle them to see how it works?
We actually faced even as a team's process because, for example, in my previous team, we inherited a service or a number of services that were developed by a different team in Estonia, right? So that was much more complicated. And right now we're standardizing all of our approaches and we're documenting everything. But that's normal, right? When you're faced with new challenges, basically you have to arrange new ways to resolve these challenges. And in our case, everything is working nicely. Yeah.
I guess what you were saying is, although you have the data, who's looking at it? Everyone in the tribe?
The data for what?
For the monitoring and alerting. You're collecting all this data, but who is looking at it? Everyone in the tribe?
So usually it's either the launchpad lead, but because we built our alerts, so that's one of the things that we really, the launchpad lead does with the mission. He really thinks it through. What are the kinds of things that the launchpad will need to detect that something is failing or isn't failing? So in terms of monitoring, if let's say, because we have support engineers in support, if something happens and the tribe didn't detect, we're still alerted manually. And what will happen is that the launchpad then says, what failed in our monitoring, what failed in our alerting? And it will go there and improve. So it's an anti-fragile system.
The support engineers within the tribe. That's what.
No. The support engineers are a separate part of the organization. Yeah, they are outside the tribe.
Because you're talking about planning, and one other dimension is the operation.
No. Operation is done by the tribe itself, by developers. Developers, it's extreme ownership. You build it, you maintain it. And destroy it. The only thing that support engineers do is they're the second line of let's say, someone calls the support tries, clear cache, whatever, blah, blah, and if that then didn't fix the issue, they escalate to support engineers. Support engineers will actually verify if it's a bug or not. If it's a bug, then they push it to the developers to fix to the launchpad.
Do you put security on your mission, like requirements to the developing of your products?
Yeah, we do have a lot of security requirements. We have a security team at Pipedrive that basically specify the really complete checklist. Security testing is done prior to the landing. Basically, we send to HackerOne, we send to multiple systems to verify that there's no big failures. But we try a lot to do security testing internally because every bug that's detected by HackerOne, we pay a lot of money to.
So it's inside the tribe, or?
It's inside the tribe. Everything is inside the tribe. The tribe owns the code completely. Right. Any other question?
I can, how did you come with this concept of tribe?
Well, the
Because you have several tribes inside of the company, right?
yes.
And usually a tribe, from my understanding, is associated with some culture.
And that's exactly what happens. Each tribe is a bit different from one another. That's some tribes, for example, here in Lisbon, basically we just work with TypeScript. There are other tribes that just work with JavaScript. And each tribe basically owns a different part of the product. For example, here we own workflow automation. We own data enrichment system. There's other tribes that own email, calendar synchronization. So basically, each tribe actually owns different parts of the product, and it feels different. Culturally, it feels different.
But is the nature of the tribe driven by their characteristics or by the nature of the goals they embrace?
And the culture itself?
Yeah, so
the culture is defined by the people who are in it.
Didn't you pick TypeScript because it was the better tool to solve a given problem? Or it is inherently TypeScript the best your engineers are?
I wouldn't say it's the best because that's a holy war. Some guys prefer one thing, others prefer another. That's not the point. The thing is, at the time, it felt, and it was my team the first that actually introduced TypeScript to Pipedrive. It felt that was the thing that we needed here to make us really efficient and make less mistakes. But that was a preference that we made. It's not because it's better. And then we just like TypeScript. That's why we write TypeScript. But if we could write in Go or something else. Anything else?